Okay, good evening, everyone. It is April 3rd at 6:04. I would like to call this meeting of the Eastern Essex District Department of Veteran Services to order. I would also like to thank everyone for their time and attendance on this sort of spring sleety and rain night. I appreciate everyone making the trip up and contributing their time. So without further ado, I think we should get into our agenda. And the first item on our agenda is citizens query. We have no guests tonight, so I don't think that will be an active item. The next item we have, Cindy, Cindy was kind enough to pull together a number of minutes. They were emailed out. And I would like to ask if people had comments or issues on the individual minutes that were distributed.
Just one thing, under Chairman's report, the last paragraph that says the D-Day parade is on June 8th. The second sentence says there is a meeting on June 6th. I think that should be a concert.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
And I will get those events to everybody on a calendar.
Thank you for that.
They've been in the paper, but.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write right on that, yeah.
Any other comments to the minutes for the meeting February 29th, 2024?
And so, you said these were emailed to us, I must have missed it.
I didn't get mine either.
Okay.
But it could have gone in my junk box.
They were,
Yeah,
I got it.
I have found that the junk, the screening has become more
Yes.
aggressive.
Yeah.
Or the,
Yeah,
All right, I'll check.
Because I got your email
yeah.
with the financial
Yeah, I
on
did
it,
that.
Right.
but I didn't get the minutes.
And then it's more than that.
No, I know, it
No,
was
it
different when I
was-
did some minutes.
I got that, I got the minutes.
Yeah.
I'll take
It's
it.
probably
Our goal is 3 or 4 days
probably
before.
my junk.
However, with that modification, it was concert, correct?
Yes.
That's,
Yeah, there will be a concert.
Are there any other comments? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve the minutes for February 29th, 2024 with the amended, items.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you,
Thank
Cindy. Cindy, this is a thankless task, so I will thank you.
I just paid it, don't
The next item on the agenda, which will dovetail with some of the other items, is financial. Karen, do you just want to give us a quick,
sure, there's no more minutes? No, okay.
Let me
So,
just ask, are we up to date on our minute posting?
No, we're still
we're
trying,
missing the October one?
we're trying to track that down, and Steve and I are working on our connections to the person who took it.
Okay.
So we are working,
But that's the only one that we're,
Yes.
yes, that's right,
thank you.
and that is diligently being
If
pursued.
it gets to be a problem, if you have a video and it gets to be a problem,
That was the executive order. There was no video.
Oh, she didn't.
Because you can't,
so you had to.
there might have been one recorded, but there hasn't been one released to the public.
Yeah.
Because we were in executive
I
session.
think we did turn it off.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
But that open
Right.
meeting is all set? There was an open meeting component to that too.
Was it that night?
I think we're calling, she took the minutes for both of those,
Oh, right.
so that's what we're calling the executive session minutes.
Yeah.
So yes, there will be two pieces of that.
So back to Cindy's point, if there is a tape of the open session, maybe Cindy could do that, we can't find at least.
I think so.
Can you liaison with Cindy to
Yeah.
track the recording
It
one?
was October, I'm sure it's.
Or it was October something.
Okay.
I forget if it was the 10th or.
That'll be the only
Something
October
like that.
one.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, Karen, first of all, thank you for your diligence on the financials. Do you want to give us a brief overview of how we're doing?
We're doing very well. We haven't, spent hardly any money this year. I mean, relatively, we've spent about $105,000. So we will end up with a surplus. I'm guessing there are some things that we will find, like, for example, we haven't paid the rent on the office yet.
Okay,
But I'm guessing there may be a few things that, we find that, haven't been paid. and will need to be paid before the end of the year, but based on the way that we're going, we'll have a healthy surplus in the year.
Terrific, terrific. And is there any, the closing of the books? I know it's very complicated in my town with the state and the certification and the auditors. Is there any closing process, or is it simply just a tick and tag, make sure the bills are paid?
And, you know, basically, you know, we reconcile to the bank statements.
Okay,
It's not a real complex operation,
right,
and we just try to make sure that all the fiscal year 24 things get in fiscal year 24 and 25.
okay. Well, again, it can be a thankless job, the numbers, but thank you, for your diligence, so, you know.
Numbers are fun.
Numbers.
She's done a great job helping me, so.
Steve, and you feel comfortable with the budget and how we're tracking and, your management of it? I know the first couple of weeks, we're getting a handle on some of the buckets and the containers. From a financial standpoint, you feel a good handle on those things?
I do, yeah, and I know exactly now, like I said, I have that wiggle room where I can use it for better coffees or,
Right.
So I do have that expense.
Terrific. Okay, are there any other questions or comments on, financial items, from the board?
Has everybody paid?
Yes.
And I will say, I know where the culprit was, new trainer, that's all.
And I sent out all the new estimates to all the towns already.
Okay,
They have them.
great.
What is the due date on those payments? Is it
July 1st,
July?
first day.
Okay,
I mean,
So-
in theory,
yeah,
we need that money to run the office.
right.
So,
There's no revolver here to fund, you know, a deficit, right? There's no bank debt, you know, you can't take out a loan.
exactly,
Right,
exactly.
municipal finance. I did, on financials, I did have to explain, and I think I did a mediocre job. I had to explain the 115 backlog and how, you know, a town can have 10 people receiving various levels one year and you go to 2 people the next year, and that sort of lag period. So with Steve's help, he was very helpful, walking me through that and how it works. But again, there were some folks, that had never been in the military and, well, why are we even supporting these, benefits? I said, well, that's a requirement. It's not only honor bound, but it's also required, a state and federal requirement. So, but Steve was very helpful in getting me, the details on the flow and the delays and the 75% and how it comes back to the towns. So, okay, if there are no other questions on financial, we'll move on to the chairman's report. I have just a few brief things to say. We had a very active couple weeks. I know in my town, we're gearing up for Memorial Day. We've had our first couple meetings. I know there's some other events being planned around Cape Ann, but our committee is getting going. Again, I continue to get very positive feedback from the deck plates, from Steve and Tony's work here, office being responsive, can-do attitude. So from my standpoint, from my little sliver of Cape Ann, we have some active things coming up with our Memorial Day celebration, but also we have, I've been getting some continued very good feedback from the office on our team's efforts. I'll stop there. Do we want to go any other items that from the towns that people want to talk about upcoming events or feedback?
No, I think, it's, I don't know, it seems like it seems like I'm like a one on paper hanger. Half the stuff I got on my plate, it's hard to keep track, but,
Right.
I think everything's going relatively well, so. Yeah, I don't know.
Ron, anything from your town?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure Steve will hit this one here. Steve's hosting our quarterly breakfast on the 10th of April at 10 a.m. Everybody's welcome to come, free food. So you're all welcome to come.
In town, where's the
At
location?
Town Hall. at the
Town Hall, great.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Well, it's in the senior center.
COA.
COA, yeah.
To the right of it when you go in there, and it had a good turnout last time, and I know there's 3 people going for sure, because we all met today. There's some, our historians want to do some things for veterans, make videos and
Sure.
so on. So I had a meeting with them today to go over a couple of things. And Tony gave the gentleman, our historian, the latest numbers of who the veterans were.
Okay,
And we have the gentleman who actually takes care of all the veterans cemeteries, plots in West Newbury. We did a scrub of the roster today to determine who actually moved out of the town
right,
and who actually has passed away since
okay, sure.
this was last done.
Sure.
So we're gonna update it and make sure Steve and Tony get the latest update,
Sure.
because he's going to.
12, did you say? 12?
We have 12,
Yeah.
but it came off the list, I mean.
Okay.
Right away, so that was kind of good, so we had a nice little meeting and chat today, and they're all gonna be at the breakfast, on the 10th, and they did mention, I think, met you, and they said what a nice man from, the town over that was there, and I said, yeah, he's a really nice man. So, I knew exactly they were talking about when they were talking about going,
When's the breakfast?
it's on the 10th.
Oh,
The 10th of April.
April, next week.
Yeah, next week.
Next.
I told them you'd probably be there, I was gonna see you tonight, so they were hoping that you'd be there.
Yeah. So Doug, we're just as a subsegment, first of all, welcome Doug. As a subsegment to the chairman's report, we're just touching briefly on some of the activities going on in our towns. I don't want to put you on the hot seat. Do you want to go last and I'll continue round robin, or do you want to talk about anything
Well,
going on in Georgetown?
On April 20th, we have Operation Troop Support,
Okay,
care package event, where we will box up care package items, toiletries, candies, cakes, things like this, DVDs, books, small books, things like that. And we have the scouts who will be working with us. A lot of
that's great.
people from the town have indicated they'd like to come by, so it'll probably last about 2 hours.
Okay,
After that, we're going to begin, and first, we had 4 collection points. One was at Crosby's Market, one was at the fire station,
okay,
one was at the First Congregational Church in Georgetown, and the other was in the New Life Community Church in Georgetown. So they did a good job doing that, and the gal from town, Michelle Bridges, was helpful in promoting it.
sure.
Then after that, we'll be working on a meet and greet event to have the veterans come out. We're gonna work on a premise, if you feed them, they will come.
Food
But
motivates.
yeah, well, I mean, listen, it's for a purpose, it's to meet the veterans and tell them about the American Legion, and
Right.
hopefully we can get some new members.
Sure, sure.
Then,
When is that, Doug?
that hasn't been,
Hasn't been planned,
to be
okay,
announced.
okay,
And the troop support is at what location?
It's at the New High Bible Chapel, which is the old VFW building on
Right,
435.
Where the jack used to be.
where there was a armored transport, wasn't it, Doug?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about that last
It's
week.
over, I think, in North Andover, and they're freshening it all up with paint, and
Oh, it's in North Andover.
I think it's at the cemetery, Veteran Cemetery. I
Okay,
think that's North Andover. I always get it mixed up between Andover and North Andover. But anyhow, so it'll be at the old VFW building, now the New High Bible Chapel. They're the ones that are hosting this with us. They've been always grateful enough after the building got sold to allow the veterans to meet in that building.
that's
So we
great.
had a home to go to. Then we'll begin working on establishing quarterly veterans breakfasts. A couple of the churches and the Council on Aging have indicated they'd be interested in having us use their kitchen. And try to get out that way. Hopefully Steve will be available for the inaugural one. I don't know when it will be.
Okay,
I'm cooking next week, so.
So, what else? And then, of course, Memorial Day is coming up. and,
Right.
We'll be doing that.
in Essex, we're gearing up we're having our first couple committee meetings this next week or two, so.
Yeah.
Exciting time, yeah,
So that's what's happening in Georgetown.
great, that's very thick book. Sherry, anything?
Bob Rager is already working on a parade as
Oh,
well.
okay,
We're probably better than
Okay?
Talking with Walter,
Wow.
helping Walter today.
Oh, really?
Walter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Entire state.
He is. They're a good bunch, that whole group that's always there. And we're also working towards, having a regular set breakfast, breakfast.
Terrific.
At our congregational churches where we had it the last one.
Oh, sure.
And it was fun. It was, I'm not a veteran, but it's so fun to see that all of you guys interact.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, people that haven't seen each other for a long time, and just the stories, because we were serving, myself, and one of the other selectmen, we were serving, and, it was just, it's really nice to see the interaction.
Sure.
And they really appreciate it, and our oldest is 95.
Oh, wow.
And
George.
I was going strong, but yeah.
George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get the next
Oh,
one,
I
you know, you know.
I know you will.
Yeah.
And Linda, and also, how, DJ, could we touch on DJ as well?
Absolutely. In fact, there's a meeting tonight, which Steve and I should be at, but we're not because we're here. But yeah, that's gearing up. It's gonna be an incredible event. I think I sent all of you the
Yes.
bowling challenge. I
Right.
call it. Some of you can't make it, but that's April 14th at Cape Ann Lanes over in Gloucester.
Sure.
The parade committee is just amazing. They have so much lined up and they continue every week. We're hearing that, you know, there's other organizations that are going to participate. Charlie Supitsky and I raised at the last meeting that we would like to invite the other select boards within our district here to participate in the parade. So we will be reaching out to the folks.
Terrific.
For that.
It's gonna be great, you're gonna have so much stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, I will get the calendar of events out. I think there's
It's changing.
3 or 4 concerts coming up. I do know June 6th. I think is that the North Shore Philharmonic?
That is.
Yeah.
At the Ipswich High School Performing Arts Center. And then the parade and block party, will be here in Ipswich on June 8th.
Oh, wonderful.
Block party in the morning and then.
I think it's gonna be simultaneous.
Oh, really?
I think
Okay.
the block party, I believe, is gonna be set up with music and such, over,
Makes sense.
by EBSCO, where the Takeout Terrace stage is. And, but I don't have all the specifics on that yet.
Sounds exciting.
If I could add on to that, the Georgetown American Legion Post 211, one of our members is in National Guard and he's volunteered a Humvee.
Oh,
So we
okay.
get maybe a couple of our older veterans seats to ride and not have to, because I suspect the lineup of the parade's gonna stretch from Raleigh to.
Yeah.
Don't want to say too much about this because I don't know the details, but the parade route has changed because there's
Okay.
gonna be an event going
Right.
on at the high school, so
Right.
that was the original staging for there, but again.
Yeah, so the Humvee will be towing a ceremonial cannon. And we're looking at getting a banner to go to identify the American Legion Post.
Is it real or fake, the cannon?
It's a ceremonial cannon.
So it must be your old
It
Nancy.
might be.
I don't know.
You know the answer. You know the answer.
Better watch, we'll go after the clan. That's another one. And we used to think that we were New Raleigh at one point before we were Georgetown.
Right?
You're old. If I
Yeah,
had,
stay-
my mind, you came to me first and my mind was like blank.
Well, that's always, you know, the first time,
Does anyone, did anybody know Bernie Fields? He ran the Maple store. He passed away.
Okay.
And, he had military convoy that like brought the Vietnam Wall to Plum Island. And he has done, his convoy has gone all the way across the country. And he has always run on Memorial Day, the parade in Newbury. And you guys have kind of caught me all off guard because I just kind of thinking about all this. I don't know what we're gonna do.
Sure.
We're gonna have to, Bernie's gonna be a tough shoe to fill.
Right.
And, so when I get any more information, I'll let you know. Sorry.
So as far as Memorial Day parades, which I don't believe is gonna have a parade.
Yeah.
They're gonna sort of segue the energy for the,
Yeah, they're gonna, the last few years, we've had a ceremony up at the cemetery, so, which is very, moving and wonderful, remembrance. So I think that's, that is.
okay, good to know, and it seems like it's such an undertaking for D-Day. That effort
I
is,
can't say enough about that group. They have all kinds of military equipment and participants and bands.
Donations are just.
Yeah.
It's-
terrific.
So this,
Doug, yes?
I'd like to add that this past weekend, I attended an event at the North Andover High School, rededicating their Vietnam Memorial at the high school.
Okay.
Senator Tar was there and, oh gee, I forget the gal's name. She's a brigadier general, was a brigadier general, and she's been appointed to the first woman. I think she's like the executive director of Veterans Affairs. Do you know-
Okay,
do you know?
So Tony was there as well.
Yeah.
He was gonna read the list.
Right.
We had a list of all the KAs from Vietnam, but Larry Jordan didn't know and kind of
Yeah.
took over. But that's fine. I mean,
So that was it was a cool day, windy.
Windy.
If it wasn't windy, it wouldn't have been so cold.
right,
But anyhow, it was a tremendous event with the Marine Corps students, I believe, ROTC.
sure,
Posting the colors. And there was a bagpiper, and there was then the roll call from the communities that spoke to say their deceased veterans' names from Vietnam.
okay.
Maybe tell a story too. It was a very moving
And did
event, and Joe
they,
Blank did a great job.
did they freshen up the memorial, or was it just a rededication?
Rededication. Well, they add something every year. Oh, I
Okay.
think this year they added a barrier to prevent the lawnmower from
Hitting
running
the,
over, yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, it's really got a wall, you can get the memorial here, and there's a wall that comes around here that
Oh,
you can
sure.
sit on. There's a couple of benches, and there's a walkway out, and then there's pavers around.
sounds
So
right.
I think they added the pavers so that the lawnmower can grow, and grow grass all over. the place.
Sure, sure,
But it was really a very moving event. and-
Okay.
And well attended.
okay, terrific, terrific. Okay, well, with that, I will segue on from chairman's report and subsegment of activities in the community. Are there any other points or items that are upcoming or past that people want to mention?
So we do have actually an Essex
Steve.
breakfast
Yes.
planned
Yeah,
for May 8th. So
right,
we have a veterans breakfast at the Essex Council on Aging.
yeah,
Dana, we're also coordinating with the Newbury Council on Aging, watching Byfield, but, so we're planning a veterans breakfast as well in your area as well, so no area is gonna be left out of.
Steve, you're keeping me honest, that was the first thing I was supposed to mention. I promised the Council on Aging, I mentioned it, I forgot completely to do it.
Yeah,
Anyway, but yes, we have a nice crowd in Essex and, everyone, that's open to anyone. And it's a lovely center. It used to be the old Boy Scout, camp house. And it went decrepit for a couple of years in the town, revamped it and made it a Council on Aging, and it's just a wonderful space upstairs and new kitchen. It's just great, a great little space. So please, it's open to everyone, and, we'll have some more information, around. Okay. The next item on the list is, the assistant to the VSO staffing requirements and the discussion thereof. I'll kick it off, and then Steve and Tony can sort of talk about that. In our last meeting, we agreed that, Tony and the needs of the department and the needs of the, ongoing effort that, Steve is spearheading, for the new fiscal year. There was a need for Tony's hours to be at 35 hours. And this item on the list is to talk specifically about the gap between now and July 1st, when we've agreed to those hours increasing. And the need to sort of segue into a 35-hour role more quickly. So that is what this item is about. And I wanted to turn it over to Steve and talk about the why of it and the specifics, and then open it to the community. Does that make sense, to everyone? Great.
So starting on the 25th, Tony started actually his 35-hour weeks. But it's already paying off. We actually just started, Tony created our new Facebook page for the Eastern
Okay.
Essex District. And it's going very well. I mean, I've already contacted the VA Bedford Healthcare System. I personally know the public affairs officer for the VA Public Healthcare. So
And this
he's
is a
sharing
Facebook page for
us.
our
Our
district.
district.
Okay,
So he's already sharing our information on the whole VA Boston. So it's just with the likes, sharing information, getting information out there. We put out the flyer today on the parade. I did
that's
an
great.
introduction, so I mean, like I said, it's fairly new. Facebook first originally kicked us off, thinking we were a bot page. So Tony did a really great job contacting them, to let them know. So I think once the Facebook page really gets up and running and we have that great following, I've already reached out to all my VSOs. They're gonna share our page with their site so that people, in their areas can also follow us and.
Well, bravo Zulu to both you guys,
Yeah, no,
because I know we talked about two demographics, one being the older people that don't use computers, but also the younger crowd that is craving digital interaction. So I think that initiative is tremendous because that's that younger demographic, that's how they communicate with them.
So we've also actually created this, there's a software called Claude. I don't know, Tony, it's an AI software. It's better than Chat GPT. But
Okay,
it actually it creates flyers for you. It creates anything for pretty much for you.
Claude,
It's called Claude.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a great database that we're using. It's gonna automatically post Facebook posts for us. So it's really, I don't know, Tony wants to talk about it.
I have the next 3 months of posts already planned out just through Claude, I asked it
it.
to give me a bunch of different ideas and then separate those ideas into how I should post each month, and then like what my goal is towards the end of just building more people that are using our page and how to give value to those people so they return to the page and send it to their friends, that sort of thing. So a lot of content already planned out for the next,
so
forever.
Claude helps you plan the content that will then go on to Facebook
Yep.
electronic distribution.
Yes.
Is that right?
And it'll be all up-to-date information regarding, the new PACT Act, any new presumptive conditions that come out. So anything new relevant that we can possibly just know. I mean, this will automatically know that information and
Right.
post it and have that information up. So it's remarkable.
Dana?
My Facebook, lack of education, I guess, for lack of a word. But are you able to link that Facebook page to like the various towns' websites?
So that's what we're working on as well, yeah, so there are little issues with each individual town.
Yeah,
But we are posting it like on our site, stuff like that, so I mean, but like I said, I've been sharing it to all the local VSOs as well. They're gonna start sharing our page. It's just, grow. I think the old Facebook page that was up, which I couldn't re-access because they didn't have a password for it.
Okay,
I had about, I think, 96 likes. So
Okay.
we're gonna try to get that to get a lot bigger than that.
okay.
But yeah. But it's just about getting that information out there. Like I said, creating events, which we're gonna start. You brought up the veterans that don't use Facebook, so
Right.
we're creating a separate thing for that, where we're gonna have mail out stuff directly to the veterans as well, so it doesn't leave anyone out.
And some of those pages, I'm sure, that you're creating, Tony, can be useful in snail mail, in
Yeah.
mailing them out, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right, yeah.
And how does the website fit in the middle of all that?
I have so my game plan for the website is to be the central point for, I would like every town to link to our website rather than having their own websites. And so then on our website, I would like to have our calendar, which I've already talked to IT about how we're gonna do this. I would like our calendar to be town specific. So if you're only looking for Raleigh events, you can only look at the calendar for Raleigh. Or if you're looking for all of Essex County or Eastern Essex County, then you can have just that section. Then each town hopefully will change their veteran services pages to just linking our page. And then on our page, we'll have our Facebook link, our future Instagram, TikTok, all the future social medias that I want to build into. Because Facebook only covers a certain demographic, and then
Right.
TikTok is the younger crowd, and Instagram will hit a different crowd. So with our efforts to reach everybody, we need to use everything, and moving towards like even podcasting, if that's something Claude can help us out with too, is
Sure.
building an outline on how to build a podcast, and then just there's so many different resources all pointing towards the same goal of outreach.
So Facebook is not the primary, we're gonna use other social media as well, Tony, is that the plan?
Correct.
Because I've also heard Facebook is sort of not the younger choice.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
So TikTok, it will be the youngest, sorry,
Right.
the youngest choice. And then Instagram has certain demographics, like it's more like the 30 to 40 age. And then Facebook typically is like the 40 to older crowd now. But it's different people have different sources that they want to get their information from.
Sure.
And we want to get everybody's eyes on it, so we'll go to where they're looking rather than making them come to Facebook.
How about X or Twitter? How does that fall, formerly known as Twitter? Yeah.
It's been 8 months, they should.
Right.
So I have no experience personally with X, that's something that I will, like, I'm building into that in the future,
Okay.
but it's just,
We're gonna lead up to, and obviously, we wanna have all of those, but like, we wanna focus on one thing, build that up, and then,
Exactly.
make sure that's running smoothly.
Dana, you had a question?
I do, well, my wife, we use Facebook like exclusively for just about everything. And it's a great, like, you already talked about the calendar, but in Facebook and Instagram actually talk to each other, so if you've got a crowd of people that are liking or following something of yours on Facebook, it's almost automatically gonna migrate over to Instagram all by itself, because, for example, if I see something on your Facebook page and I like it, and what I wanna move forward to is we talked about the calendar. You can create events, like every single event that we just talked about, you can create that event on your Facebook page, and at the bottom of that event will be a little thing that says interested. And let's say the bowling event, for example, and I just hit interested in the bowling event, Dana Packer. All of my followers and all the veterans that follow me are gonna see that now I'm interested in this bowling event. So this is an absolutely fabulous, opportunity to get the word out. This is gonna blow up like a nuclear bomb.
So this is a way that, the bottom of Facebook that then rolls to other things.
It's gonna be incredible. I can just see it coming, even all the COA luncheons and all of that stuff. You can create all of those events on your Facebook page, and the word will get out very, very quickly.
So Dana, is this another way of saying that Facebook, it should be as Tony is, our first attack, our first wave?
Well, it does link both, like
No,
you said, so I mean, it
yeah.
has Instagram aspect.
And then getting back to the website, the website and Facebook really are two separate entities.
Right.
They really are, and like you were talking about trying to get like a Facebook link on the website. That really is.
No, to the town's Facebook page. So our town has a Facebook page, so I was just wondering if,
Town of Ipswich.
yeah. it's a Facebook
Mary, I
page.
think Mary Galvin runs it. Mary Galvin runs it.
Yeah, and I think Leah too.
Yeah.
Leah's instrumental. in that,
Yeah,
but-
well, sure.
Yeah.
But it's about getting
It's-
everyone on board, because I also wanted to bring up, so Essex reached out to me, the town manager. So they lost the ability to post on their own website for this town, so they have a company that runs their Essex, so when I try to send them the agenda, they can't do it anymore. So they said they're okay with me just posting it on our site and not having to have to send them the agenda to post on their site. I just wanted to also bring that up
Good.
and make sure that you were aware of that.
I think there is an outsourcing way there. on
Yeah,
some of
so
those-
they said they're okay with me just posting the agenda to our site, and that's good.
Okay.
That's just for Essex.
That's just
Yeah,
for-
Essex, yeah.
Can I go back to the website for just a minute? I mean, aside from all the social media stuff, you're right, the website is critical. I prefer to go to a website to get information. What are your plans about updating?
So with Civics
Website
Plus,
itself.
it's, Civics Plus is, it's a very.
That's who hosts
That's
our
who hosts our
website.
website. So trying to reach out to them to treat, so the calendar, it's a mess right now, but we will work it out.
Right.
IT is working on it, they reassured us they are working on it. But yeah, everything is gonna come together, on due time.
I do think that the website is more critical than the social media parts.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I wanna actually see traffic. I wanna see how many people
Right.
actually click on it, say to compare. So that once we do have this Facebook up and running, we can compare who's looking more at the website, who's looking more, so once those numbers do come in. See. it.
Yeah, and the website, you can link to
Yeah.
each town's, when they go to Veterans Department under their websites, they should be able to click on that,
Yeah.
get the most up to date.
Yeah.
Here.
We updated all the new, political, state senators.
Okay, sure.
So we updated all of that. But yeah, I mean, everything is, it's just, Civics Plus does limit what you can actually do and what you can control, what you can, and so,
Okay. So Steve, is your point here that one of the key initiatives that Tony's working on for this gap period between now and July first, for his need of the, bringing him to the 35 hours, is untangling and enhancing this reach out to the younger demographic, getting the word out there, untangling and making them all work together and getting some of them up and running, it sounds like, in addition to all his 115 and other paperwork initiatives.
yeah.
Is that the direction you're driving at?
It's never a dull moment.
Right. And again, one of the key initiatives that we all discussed for Steve and for his team was to hit that younger demographic. The older demographic responds to the breakfasts and the mailings and the socials. But I think it's a crucial element, not just having a website, but again, the myriad of new things and new ways to reach people is, it's amazing, but it's complicated. In my mind, I find it complicated, so it's great.
Information's power.
But Steve, is that the point that would be the staffing model for 35 hours or between now and July 1st when it's been approved? And again, I think there was a discussion on the board that, we should just discuss what that focus will be, and understand it, but also, because it is a staffing item and we want to report back to our towns and have a robust discussion. I'll open it to the board. Are there any other, points or things about that, Tony's added hours for the coming,
At our last select
3
board
months?
meeting, I think Bill DeMayo was the guy that said, he asked me the question on whether or not the assistant is full-time. And
the assistant DSO?
yeah,
Assistant-
I said, yes,
Okay.
and everybody was like,
Yeah.
Well, this is on the agenda because, yes, we did approve, but it wasn't on the last agenda. And there did seem to be support, but we said, time out, let's put it on the agenda formally, staffing Tony, 35 hours between now and, July 1st, when it's in the budget. And Karen, may I ask, there is budgetary room for this,
There's lots of.
as you. Yeah.
Well, I think I'd be dropped the term wise.
Well, and I also feel lucky that we do have, Tony on board that has the knowledge of these things, because quite frankly, my Facebook login is, an email is where I get to, so.
Well, it's important that we know what the office needs for staffing to be efficient.
Right.
And I think that this, going back to, I think maybe it was mentioned in the minutes, but going back to when we had 2 more towns here, we had a full-time assistant and some part-time.
Right.
And so right now, then we have a full-time assistant to the director.
Right.
No, you took my question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
About the budget.
Ron, Dana, any? So, okay, so with that, I would look for a motion to, support the staffing of, the assistant to the DSO at 35 hours between now and July 1st, when it is budgeted for him to be 35 hours, on a regular basis. So, that's the motion I would look
I'll make
for,
that
if
motion.
appropriate.
So much.
Second.
May I look for a vote on that motion? All in favor? Great. Great. Unanimous. Okay. And thank you, Tony, for that, that work and what you're doing with 115 and again, getting to that younger crowd. And the joke is that younger crowd will be the older demographic eventually, so.
Told Mike on the phone, I hit the lottery, he's get higher than you, so.
And, you know, I think it is, I see this on the corporate side, what was a very, you know, high-tech website 5 years ago, you know, it had to evolve.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item is the catch-all items that could not be reasonably anticipated by the open meeting laws at posting deadline. I know, Cheryl, you wanted to touch on a point.
Yeah,
It does dovetail with staff and scheduling, excuse me.
Right. I was just wondering if we can meet earlier. There is your office closed at 4?
4 on Wednesday,
4.
7 on Monday.
And so the meeting's not till 6. He's got.
Sometimes 7.
Yeah. So I don't know how many kids you have. I know you have at least one. So his childcare issues I'm retired. I don't know what everyone else's situation is. If we can meet a little earlier to
I'm retired.
be good. We don't meet that often.
Sure. I will say from my point, I have a great flexibility on my work from home days, so I can support an earlier meetings.
I think Linda, you're still working full time.
I am.
Oh.
I'm in the minority. Yeah, it depends, I mean, Tuesdays or I could probably make that work. I don't know if Tuesdays work for anybody else, but Wednesdays I come from Burlington and the night I barely die here.
Okay. Wednesday, is there a time that on Tuesdays that would be too early or too late?
I could do Tuesdays at 5.
Okay,
That's about the best.
and does that help Steve, or with your childcare, was that?
Usually my wife works Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at the hospital at night, so.
Okay.
She leaves by 4:30, well, 4.
So Tuesday is a tough day, to be 5 or later.
Well, Tuesdays, what is it, the second and fourth Tuesday of every month is our select board meeting, which we talked about that before, so.
Yeah, is there a day that you don't come from Burlington? Wednesday is Burlington?
Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday I'm in Burlington.
Monday, Wednesday. So an early Friday? You know,
That's our, I mean, yeah, I mean,
It's
our
tough.
Fridays, we're only open till noon.
Yeah, Friday's town hall.
Town hall.
And I'm-
That eliminates them being able to go home.
That's right,
You do 8 a.m. Fridays.
that's like duty on the holidays.
I can go early morning.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Early morning Friday.
I could do a Tuesday or Friday morning.
Friday morning.
It'd have to be early though,
Yeah.
7.
I'll be working. I work Friday mornings.
Yeah.
But I mean, 6 is even better because we used to meet at 7.
Right, that's my point, Sherry, that we've progressed from
Yeah.
7 to 6:30. But Tuesdays are a tough day for your Tuesday, Thursday,
Tuesday, Thursday.
and Friday. you said? No,
Plus work
Saturday.
Saturdays.
Tuesday.
12-hour shifts at the hospital.
Well, if we keep it at 6, we can pick any, and I mean, it's still, even like you said, it's tough for you to even to get here at 6,
Well, I
but you can.
6 I can manage.
Okay,
I don't know, I can come anytime, so it does, you know, just the second and fourth Tuesday of the month is, I have my select board meetings, but, you know, they're not till 7, so even if we were gonna do like a 4 on one of those days, I could even do that, but I don't, it doesn't sound like there's a day that will fit into everybody's
Yeah.
schedule. I don't think that's gonna happen.
And Monday, Linda, are you in Burlington? Mondays?
I am, but Mondays are usually our select.
Select board, okay.
So that's.
All right, and it's worth a shot, maybe we're able to schedule. the
Well,
next
and
one.
maybe your wife's schedule will evolve, Steve.
Yeah.
And we can tweak it to one of those earlier days on a Tuesday or Thursday.
Well, if Wednesdays at 6 work, I mean, it works for me,
Okay.
and it's only usually quarterly, so.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep it 6.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
So,
at what time were we talking about maybe meeting a little bit more frequently than quarterly?
I think
Like
it's-
every 2 months or something?
as Steve was getting going, and I think this is an example of this,
Yeah.
Linda, I think that's what we had discussed, but I guess, Steve, you feel that where's my Air Force veterans, the wheels are coming off the ground, you're getting a good start, hitting the deck plates running for the Navy and the Coast Guard?
Filing things are crazy, honestly. Yeah, so I just, on Monday, I had 7 appointments, so.
Okay.
That's when we spoke.
Right, so Monday is tough, because that's when a lot of people come in, are you saying,
Yeah,
Steve?
oh, I mean, every.
Right.
Yeah.
And
When
you're finding-
opening used to be filled.
And you're finding more people coming in, you're finding more people looking for claims?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Spouses, dependents, you name it, yeah.
Well, I will tell you, from what I see in the economy, that there is greater pressure on folks, even though it's a relatively robust economy, even in town, or the numbers speak to, with the inflation has created great pressure. So I unfortunately, I think there are gonna be more folks that are seeking aid, demanding, that might have not needed it 2 years ago before the pandemic. I think, there's greater pressure, so I think that speaks to just a fully staffed and more robust office. So, and see, that's what you're saying anecdotally, 7 appointments on Monday?
Yeah, well, especially with like, the HERO Act and
then more.
because there's more and more benefits.
Right.
Coming from the federal government, from the state level,
Right.
and the more those benefits flow down, the more these guys are needed to sort them all out,
So
so.
the majority of them are PACT Act and Campus June claims.
Right, so, there's obviously a need,
Yeah.
no question.
So the update on the HERO Act is that it's on schedule to be out of committee by the end of this month. And then they have to have a final vote on it by the end of July.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who knows if the language would be the same as it went in with, but
Plus, I know, yeah, a couple of people trying to add some stuff to it.
But that'll make it easier for communities to increase or double the qualified veterans tax exemption,
Right,
without having to increase every other exemption in the community.
right. And Doug, you said that was coming out of committee
Supposed to be out of committee at the end of April.
in April, so a spring or summer potentially.
But one of the call I was on tonight was with a town attorney, and we're talking about that was one of the subjects. And he looked it up and said, yeah, they're on schedule to come out by the 30th.
Sure. Well, I know that's happening in our town.
I mean,
How do we help our veterans, or how do we help our elderly with the tax rates that are going
Yeah.
through the roof?
I mean, it's not call it.
I know, I just got my tax bill today.
But.
I was crying, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, well, this is part of the topic, so I won't bring it.
Okay, yes, Linda.
At our last meeting, we talked about, moving up the director's review.
Yes.
And, so we want to do that. Why don't we gonna do that?
So
We were talking September, November timeframe of this year.
Well, November I started, so that's why you were saying.
Right,
But
right.
I think it's in the minutes too, that we moved it up to a 6-month evaluation.
That's right.
Right.
So we'd have something either April or May.
So it's
You do.
April now,
Right.
so that's why I'm asking.
Right.
And the first step
That's what we talked
is the
about.
distribution of the questionnaire to the committee members, and then people get it back by a certain date, and it's tallied, and that is the driver of a review process. So my understanding was that we would initiate a 6-month review process under normal course.
So you want to start that this month? Do you want me to get the most recent form?
I think we should distribute the form that we've used, which is an input form and a number form. And that would be a good, give everyone maybe a month, Linda, to do
Right,
that.
that would bring us up to, well,
To May.
May 6, 7,
Yeah.
8, someplace in there, which is 6 months.
Okay, so I'm just making a note. I'll circulate the form. I gotta put it together because there might be a newer one this year. I don't know.
I'll send you the one they just sent for our town administrators. It's newer than normal. So I'll send that to you, so you can just look at it and see if it fits here.
Right. But we have a form that we have used that's been.
Yeah, right,
And it was culled down over the last 3 years.
right.
But that is the traditional first step, while we're on this topic, to an evaluation. Everyone gets to give their input. It's, weeded down and digested and averaged. And again, I think we owe Steve the feedback, and I think it's an appropriate, step, but appropriate with.
Well, you know, I kind of think of it as, you know, my own office's report. Usually I wrote it. And I think personally, I'm talking for Dana now to help me, you know, you guys have you've started and initiated so many new programs and beefed up the old programs. It's like, I mean, it would be difficult for me to really say much about anything unless I got some kind of outline of, you know, how you started, you know, where you came from, where you want to go, and I think that would be a big piece of what this report.
But then I look at the goals and I heard this
Goals.
yearly annual.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's appropriate enough, but I just think that.
You're saying, Dan, it would help you get your hands around some thoughts and initiatives.
Right.
So I think our prior director,
I mean, I could make stuff up.
no, but didn't our prior director, she sent us a self-evaluation.
A brag sheet,
Right.
we used to call it the brag sheet.
Okay,
So,
Okay,
um,
I'll pinpoint all the claims and.
well, let me see if I can find a blank form of what she used.
Okay.
And then maybe that's how we start, right?
Yeah.
We send him the blank form.
Or can we do that in parallel,
Oh, we
Linda?
could, yeah.
Since he can get his brag sheet together and we can
Right,
then get maybe,
because then we can all get started on our individual reports, and then once that comes back to us, we could modify what we've already said and put it all together.
So I don't wanna go too far on this because it's not on the agenda, but it was something that we talked about last month, so I'll look for self-evaluation form, send it to Steve. I'll send everybody the most recent form for Steve's evaluation. And you and I can talk offline about
Yeah.
a deadline to get it back.
right? And so I think that is the driver to our last item.
Yeah,
The next day,
exactly.
should dovetail with that interim evaluation, because traditionally that's a board, process. June be,
I was gonna
that's
say,
sort of first, second week in June.
June, it would, yeah.
June 12th, Wednesday.
I won't be here, but you don't know. And I guess we.
And, you know,
for a lot of-
getting into summer break is always gonna be, it's tough, so, you know, it's like.
So I'll start the discussion, June 12th. Which is a Wednesday at 6. I'll throw that out there.
Will we need to?
well, I'm free that day, but
Usually July 1.
No.
Well, I think probably either the 5th or the 12th.
5th to the 12th, yeah.
You know, that,
Okay,
that,
can you do that?
No.
No.
I have no preference between the 5th and the 12th right now, so I'll look for the
I
committees.
don't either.
Ron,
I'm good.
Okay.
Either one.
Doug?
I think
sorry,
I'm-
on the 12th.
5th or the 12th,
I'm available both.
okay? Karen, you're out of pocket for both, but you will be missed, okay?
Maybe giving everybody the additional week
Okay.
might be a good idea.
I'm sorry, Sherry, 5th to the 12th, any preference?
It doesn't matter to me,
And then Linda?
Yeah, I'm in the minor.
Okay.
The fifth actually works better for me.
Okay.
It's good.
I'm good.
I will say it's 6 o'clock here at the Ipswich Town Hall.
So actually, I have my summer conference in the Cape on.
Okay.
So I'll be gone for 3 days.
All right.
You are needed for this, so.
So-
Let's do the 12th.
I have to be instead of the 12th.
The 12th, so I'll say it, the 12th of June, 2024 at 6 o'clock here at Ipswich Town Hall.
The 12th at 6.
July.
You need a speaker like that, so I have to send in a check for my meals for them, and also have to book a hotel. So I have to do it, you mentioned the one. Okay, but they said they need a check. There's no other way to pay.
Well, if you send me a warrant, I can give you a check.
Okay, that's what
Next meeting is June.
Okay, sure.
Is that 6 P.M.?
6 P.M. I think is the sweet spot, but
Well,
we're optimistic about
$20.
forward dates.
That's right.
But that's.
At least-
We did it,
That's-
we
that's
did
all.
it, that's the quad $20 a win.
Okay, so with that, I will look for a motion to adjourn. Okay, all in favor?
Hi.
Thank you all for your time and insight on this.